Good evening, my dear children. As the exams are approaching, you must all be getting a little nervous, maybe, about how to prepare for the exams, how to get yourself exam ready. So, today we have this very special series for you in which Varsha ma'am will join us along with some of our students, and you will get to hear firsthand from the horse's mouth how to handle these situations if we come across problems. So, very shortly, Varsha ma'am will be joining us, and till the time she does, let's have a little bit of chit chat. You can all watch this stream live on my channel, Pragati Ma'am Live. And if you have any questions, you can put them up on the, you know, here on the chat, and we will be there to solve all your problems, whatever you have, because that's what we are here for. Not just to troubleshoot your biology problems, botany and zoology, but also to get you exam ready in all aspects: mind, body, and soul. So let's invite Varsha ma'am. Let's see if she's joining. Till the time, let me ask you all, from the last session that we had, did you apply some of the tips that we talked about? In the last particular session, we talked about some vagal hacks, which means how to set our vagus nerve so that we don't feel any panic during the examination. We all know that sitting for an examination can be a harrowing experience. Um, Particularly अभी जो हम एग्जाम्स देते आए हैं वो डिफरेंट ग्रेड्स के रहे हैं, है ना. वी हैव गिवन एग्जामिनेशंस इन द स्कूल. वी हैव basically tried to maybe sit for examinations at a higher level, maybe the national level, like the Olympiads. But by far, this examination of class 12th is going to be the most, I would say, heavy and important examination because a lot rests on it, right? So, welcome. We have Disha here with us, and we have Pranshu also, and we're just waiting for Varsha ma'am to join, and then we can hear some tips from her. Let's see. And then we also talked about how we can get ourselves ready in terms of mind, as in, of course, we are going to study very hard. We are going to have a proper exam strategy. We are going to complete the syllabus on time, do our revisions, but at the same time, we should know that all of it will be a big waste or useless if we cannot keep our mind stable. The stability of the mind will depend on both the things. It's not just that the we only focus on how to keep our mind panic free. It's not that we should only focus on how to study and how to finish our syllabus. Both the things have to go side by side, because if we don't study properly, it can never give us the confidence to sit for the exam in a panic free mode. So एग्जाम की तैयारी एग्जाम से पहले तो होनी ही है ना. और किस तरह से होनी है? हमारा एग्जाम का जो सिलेबस है वो पूरा हमें ख़त्म करना है, और उसके अलावा हमको रिविजन्स करनी है, हमको टेस्ट्स देने हैं, और टेस्ट्स भी बहुत एग्जॉस्टिव होने चाहिए. बट एट द सेम टाइम हमको उस पर्टिकुलर मोमेंट का जो पैनिक है उसे भी अवॉइड करने के लिए हमें टिप्स आने चाहिए. Now I'm just waiting for ma'am to join in. Let me just check why isn't she here already. Just give me 1 second. In the meantime, you just get your questions ready, okay? Get your questions ready, and I will be back with you in a minute. Okay, So, if there are any questions you want to ask in the beginning of the session, then you're most welcome. I can see your questions on the screen, and the moment you put them up, I can solve your doubt of the previous sessions that we made. If there's anything that is coming to your mind from the previous session, please come out with it. Please post your question right now, because we want to keep this a very, very interactive session. And uh, the more you participate, the more fruitful the session is going to be. So let's see if you. Okay, so tell me, have you tried to follow the vagal hacks? Like, for example, I told you about deep breathing, particularly while studying, also while sitting for your examination. Also, we will talk about, we have already talked about, in fact, some of the other methods like humming and singing and doing pranayams. So don't underestimate the power of the pranayams, because pranayams can literally rewire your brains to become super brains. I told you about a couple of pranayams, which are, of course, I told you the humming pranayam, the humming bee pranayam, or the Brahmari pranayam, and also the alternate nostril breathing. The alternate nostril breathing rewires our brain in such a way that our left brain and our right brain, you know that both halves of our brain have specific functions, and both need to be performing really well if we want to do well in the examinations. So, to get them in the right tuning, to get them in sync, so we need to do alternate nostril breathing, and that too at least for 5 to 10 minutes every day. Better still if you can do it early morning. We also talked about some tips to create your body balance, or let us say your time cycle balance. For example, if you are going to sit for the exam eventually at 9 o'clock or maybe at 10 o'clock, but अभी आप अगर पढ़ने की आदत ऐसे डाल रहे हो कि रात को आप पढ़ रहे हो, दिन में आप सो रहे हो, तो आपकी बॉडी इस तरीके से वायर हो जाएगी कि आप जो है उसमें हमारे आप उस समय परफॉर्म ही नहीं कर पाओगे, राइट? So, what exactly we need to do in this case is we need to set our body clock in such a way that we quickly can, at that particular time, we can, have our brains working the best. I'm just checking out to as to why our guests haven't still joined. In fact, we are going to have a couple of more guests also for you today. So, getting your cycle back on track, I hope you're already started to do it. Uh, who of you have started to do it? Can anybody tell me? Can you tell me over the chat, please? Okay. Seems like you don't have any questions or responses at the moment. So I'll just continue to tell you a few motivations that are very, very important for your examinations. So, in fact, we can actually completely rewire our brains. इनफैक्ट हम ऑफन ये सोचते हैं कि हमारी ये लिमिटेशन है, वी हैव सर्टेन लिमिटेशन इन आवर लाइफ, करेक्ट? सो वी मे आल्सो टेंड टू थिंक दैट आई एम नॉट वेरी इंटेलिजेंट मे बी, my analytical powers are not very good, I'm not as good as that person, in doing the numericals, or I'm not very good with learning the names and facts. तो ऐसे विचार काफी हद तक आपके मन में आते होंगे, है ना? बट एक चीज मैं आपको बताऊं कि आप अपनी इन प्रॉब्लम्स को अपनी लिमिटेशन कभी मत बनाना. इनफैक्ट इफ यू वर्क हार्ड इनफ on yourself, then you can overcome these limitations very quickly, very quickly. And it only takes a little bit of discipline to do that, right? And rewiring the brain is not a big rocket thing, बहुत आसान होता है, इतना कोई मुश्किल नहीं है, but at the same time, yes, discipline is definitely required, right? Also, I told you about the disciplines of exercise that you need to do, the discipline of food that you need to undertake if you if you partake of food which is very, very oily and heavy, what else will you do? You will sleep, right? So in fact, not just before the exam, but even while studying, it's better not to eat very heavy stuff. So eat nutritious stuff, but not heavy, so that your digestion doesn't have to work too hard on it, and your brain can get the circulation of the blood that it requires to study properly, right? So eating properly, exercising properly, and doing yoga and pranayam can absolutely rewire your brains in a way that you will yourself not believe that I am the same person. You will understand what the potential of the human brain can be. Something, I don't remember the name of the scientist who said this, but he said that we are not even using 5% of our brains. Our brain has a lot of potential. We are not even using 5%. You know what is 5%? I mean, two less, right? So 20 times more we can do if only we believe in the potential of our mind, and we can create the discipline to achieve that potential, right? And how will we do that? These are the tips I'm giving you. In the last session also, I talked about certain tips to keep yourself panic free. That is one way we can, wire our brain to perform well, particularly in the exam panic conditions. Also, we have talked about the um, the setting of the cycle, correct? Then also I need to tell you about the team play. The team play is very, very important. So what do you mean by team play? I will tell you a story about this. Now, there are some trees in the Californian forests. These are called the Californian redwoods. In your class 11th, you have studied about these redwood trees, right? Sequoia trees, correct? Now, these trees are very, very tall, very, very tall, extremely huge trees they are. And the entire forests in California are full, or then basically they're densely populated with these redwood trees, right? Now, the point is, whenever even strong winds blow there, and even if the root system is not very deep, these trees never fall down. They've been standing here for years and years together. कितनी भी strong winds आती हैं, कितना भी disturbance आता है ecosystem में, they never fall. And the reason for that, you will be surprised to know. The reason for that is team play. Now you will ask me, how do these trees do the team play? Interestingly, these trees don't have very, very deep roots, correct? They have slightly shallow roots which grow sidewardly. They grow sidewards and they intertwine with each other. So when they intertwine with each other, they create a network throughout the forest. So in the entire forest floor, you will find a network of roots, which is why even if the conditions are very severe, even if there is, तेज आंधी आ रही है, बहुत स्टॉर्म्स आ रही हैं और सभी पेड़ गिर जाएंगे, बट ये जो कैलिफोर्निया रेडवुड्स है ना, ये कभी नहीं गिरेंगे. तो team play is very important. Now, how does that relate to our situation? See, we often think that if we share our tricks and if we share our secrets of study with others, it is going to, kind of put the other person to advantage. उसका फायदा हो जाएगा, मेरा नुकसान हो जाएगा. But it is never like that. If you share tips, trade tips and secrets with your friends, you can have a set of good friends with whom you study together, right? And this is how, by sharing, you will benefit in two ways. This way, you will also get to hear their tricks, because all alone by yourself, you can only do so much, only few tricks you can do. But if you have somebody else who you're sharing your tricks with, that somebody else will also share your secrets and tips with you, correct? And if you have a good size group, then you can be sure that you will be sharing everybody's realizations, everybody's tricks and trades, everybody's mnemonics, correct? That will help you to cheer up. Also, there is a very important thing. If you share things with the others, your mistakes, your apprehensions and your mistakes will be pointed out before you go and sit for the exam. कभी कभी हम एक मन में एक mistaken idea लेकर ही एग्जाम में एंटर करते हैं, और उस दौरान क्या होता है फिर कि वी सफर, राइट? Just give me 1 second. I'll just check if Varsha ma'am is there. Okay, I can see now. I can see. Somehow we're not able to get them on screen. Okay. Varsha ma'am is there, and I think Samprita Kaur is there. Welcome to both of you. And I will just hide the chat overlay. And okay, ma'am. Can you hear me, ma'am? We're having some issue with the stream. Just a minute. It will take a quick minute to resolve the issue. In the meantime, please be there. Varsha ma'am, are you speaking?
I'm there. Yes, I'm speaking, but the thing is, ki there is some issue, basically.
Okay, okay. I think now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. Now you have. Yeah, I got the permission. Actually, we needed the host permission from your side. That
Okay,
was
okay,
off. Yeah.
okay,
So
good.
I'm there, and Samprita has also joined us, and
Okay.
another.
So,
Yeah, Samprita. How are you, Samprita? And even my Kavya Yadav, one more student is there. We are waiting for her as well. And
okay,
maybe if possible Dr. Sanya Gulati. So these were the invitees for today. So in the
okay.
meantime, if Samprata is there, so I and Samprata can interact, and then you can proceed with the other features.
Sure, sure, sure. And
Yeah,
Samprita also I've given the
yeah,
permission. Also,
yeah.
your video is not visible, ma'am. Can you
Just
please
a
just
minute.
turn on your video?
Oh, okay, okay. Just a minute, ma'am. Just a minute. I have to go for the front options. Right. Wait, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So we are. I'm a little
Yeah.
apologetic about this. Is the first time we're doing the stream, so though it's
No, no,
just
it's
causing
okay.
a little
It's fine,
problem.
Gurgi ma'am. Everything has a start, and everything
But
improves with
lovely to
time.
have you on board. Lovely to have you on board.
Thank
Many, many
you.
welcome to Varsha ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Varsha ma'am is my colleague and the owner at the BioAce Institute in Faridabad.
Without you, it was not possible, Pragati ma'am.
Oh, we are together in
So
everything,
whatever,
right?
yes. So we are definitely you're the backbone for us. So we always I acknowledge and it's my gratitude and thank you so much for this opportunity that I'm here to interact with you all. It's really a good experience. I'm happy about it. So frequently we should do such kind of interactions and this is good. So today I think Samprada, we have three alumni who are going to
Okay.
talk about their real time experiences, that when they were in their student life and their adolescence, how was the time with them, and now how they overcome the situation, and they're well established. Some are still pursuing their degrees, some are established. Like Samprita is there with us. She herself is an educator now, yeah, in
Wonderful.
psychology. So she is doing, she has done her courses, the child psychology, and she's a trainer, mind trainer. So a lot of things we are going to learn from her as well. So I welcome you also, Samprita.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Can you say something, Samprita? Are you there? We were able to see her at that time. So in case, I think you have given her also the host controls, yeah, permissions.
Yes, I had. I think I can't see her at the moment among the guest list.
Okay.
Madhukar, is Madhukar also going to join us? Samprita is
Uh,
there with us. Yes, I have
yeah,
given her
Samprita.
permission again.
Yes,
Yes,
again,
Samprita is
yeah,
there.
she's there.
Yeah.
So, because it's more or less our alumni who is going to speak here today, because I believe first-hand experiences to इन्हीं से मिलता है, because they tell us how was their times, and hardly the things actually जो inherent चीजें हैं, the challenges are more or less same. No, maybe the age wise and experience wise and generation wise, how to deal with it varies.
Correct.
So that's why youngsters will tell us also their experiences more with us.
Correct. And since Samprita, most welcome to you also. And so wonderful that you could join our session here today. And I mean, obviously the starting hiccups forbid it, but let's have a
That
good
hardly
talk.
matters.
Yeah.
Whatever is good, yeah. If it works, it executes, we are doing it, that itself is an appreciation.
And Samprita, since is doing her bit in psychology, I think she can be a great help to our students in
Yes,
training
definitely.
their minds. Yes.
She's a counselor, so in a school also, in a reputed school, so she's doing good. And
Amazing.
so, Samprita, can you share some of your, like, when we met as a student and learner, and you were the learner, so what type of things was running in your mind, and how you have overcome those days? So can you just throw some insight on that and help our the young learners about it? They will also learn from your story, the challenges you faced and how you have worked on it.
Samprita, are you able to speak? Please speak once so that I can check.
She's trying,
Yeah,
say.
Okay,
thank you,
I
ma'am. It's a
guess.
pleasure being here. I guess I'm audible now.
Yeah,
Yes, you are.
completely.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see you.
Yeah, likewise. Like I'm seeing you after so long.
Yes.
So, if I have to start, I think I'll start from when I was a student, like you were asking as well, right? Uh,
Yes.
it started around 7, 8 years ago when I joined MDIS under you when you were teaching me biology, especially
Yeah.
zoology there.
Yes.
So, if I have to discuss about things and the transition from a student life to an educator. I'll
Yes.
start with the student life. When, while I was studying under you specifically, I think there was a stark demarcation that I saw in making that content very engaging. I still remember those colorful pens. Even now, also, when I'm interacting with my students, I'm like, okay, my zoology teacher asked me to have multiple color pens to demark certain things. And that made me you know, categorize my content in a better way so that I have a clearer understanding of how things are structured or, how they can be uh, represented in a very visual and imagery way and will be easier to recall, of course.
Yeah.
So that was one particular thing that I fondly remember from your classes.
Thank you.
Apart from that, there was this constant thing or that emphasis on practicing a lot of questions. Again, something I practice now as well. So students are usually like, ma'am, we are keeping this page open and we are not able to pass through it. It feels so difficult. ऐसा लग रहा है हम सुबह से एक ही पेज लेके बैठे हैं and we're not, just able to finish it off because it's not sitting in my head. And
Mhm.
I remember we used to practice a lot of questions, which worked out for me during that time and something that I eventually followed through in my college years and eventually in my practice as a teacher now as well.
That's true.
So when we practice a lot, one, of course, that confidence builds up, that rehearsal is there. One thing that children don't realize is that when you read it something for the very first time, much of the content actually sits with you, which you might not realize. Or when you studied in class, it will sit with you. So one little thing that actually helped me a lot was the reverse evaluation thing. So I would study something for the very first time, and I would not, sit with it for longer hours. I would just read it for one time after I've done it in the classes, or maybe twice I would read. And then I would go on to the questions given at the back or in any practice book that I have to look up to, any module.
Okay.
Now that so when I'm attempting those questions, it is helping me recognize certain topics that I'm stuck at, which will eventually help me to again organize my content into easy, moderate, and difficult, which I can color code. So the next time I study, I'm not wasting my time on the easier content because according to my perception while reading, it is easy, right? But when I'm attempting questions, it might not be. So now I'm actually categorizing on the basis of this evidence that I've received from the questions that I practiced. And then it is being much more strategic, where I only put in more efforts in the moderate and hard concepts and even come up with the doubts that I need to discuss with my teacher. So this is something that really worked out a lot with me. Before I joined, I was listening to ma'am. She was sharing certain things about teaching the peers also. So again, I fondly remember during our classes in grade 11 and 12, I had this amazing set of peers around me where, we would be stuck with certain questions and we would discuss okay, how to, move through them or how to solve this particular numerical. So this is again something that worked out for us. Additionally, one more hack that worked out with me during college years specifically was the fact that when we're teaching peers, it is not just that, I'm recalling things better. It is also giving me some sense of responsibility that I have to do it at a much deeper level, and I'm having accountability towards the other person, my friend here in this case. So I need to be very much familiar with the content, which eventually leads me to have a deeper understanding also. So these are a few things that I fondly remember from grade 11 and 12, and I continued in my practice.
That's so wonderful.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Samprita, to enlighten the minds of the young those buddies who are here with us today. Because very nicely you explained each and every aspects, and they're very real time things which you have actually gone through. So mostly, I just said that is for the reason that we wish that it should be directly from our alumni, that they are just recent ones, and you guys can connect, and the youngers can connect with you easily, young ones. So that's very good. Thank you so much. So,
Thank you, ma'am.
Pragati
Thank you
ma'am,
so
it's on
much.
you. Yeah, over to Pragati ma'am.
Yeah, Samprita, it was amazing to hear your journey and how
Yes.
how you, I would say,
Yeah.
you benefited from the association of your mentors. So apparently आपकी बात से मुझे ये लग रहा है संप्रीता कि mentorship होना बहुत जरूरी है. I think you need somebody among the teachers also and among the students also who can be in your journey together with you, right?
Right.
Is that right?
Yes.
Absolutely, ma'am. And I think I actually got that in grade 11 and 12 because there were days when you don't feel motivated enough. There were days when you would not score, but I still remember that in grade 12, once I scored extremely low marks in chemistry, something that I never scored in my entire life. So, which I'd never expected out of myself, just at the borderline of passing, which was a very heavy moment for me. And I remember how, my teachers were there to guide me eventually through that moment. And I sat through them. I stayed back on a few days. I was practicing day in and out. And the next time I know, I scored the highest in the class also. So that mentorship
Very
was the
nice.
one that helped me move through it.
Yeah.
This is something that I also quote in front of my students when they say, "Ma'am, okay, you would have been a very good student, right? You would have been in your 90s. You would have always scored in 90s." And then this is the thing that I always, quote. No, there was a time when I just passed on the edge, barely by a single mark, and this is how I came back at it. You have to be resilient. I know you will lose your
Hmm.
motivation, but that dedication and eventual guidance, that openness to reach out will help you out.
बढ़िया बढ़िया।
Very
अच्छा,
nice.
एक बात और बताओ संप्रीता, कभी ऐसे लगा था आपकी जर्नी में आपको बीच में, जैसे आपने एक तो इनिशियल मोमेंट बताया, यस व्हेन वी मूव ऑन टू 11 फ्रॉम 10, तो डेफिनेटली एक हैवी डोज हो जाता है एक सिलेबस का, यू आर नॉट यूज्ड टू इट एंड many times you don't perform well and that becomes a cause for demotivation. बट एक चीज बताओ, टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ द जर्नी, जैसे अभी हमारे बहुत सारे बच्चे एंड ऑफ द जर्नी पे हैं,
Right.
राइट, मे बी a couple of months more. So what, according to you, should be the strategy to keep your mind, body, soul together and be completely prepared for the examination?
So one thing that I really abide by is, given that our schedule, especially in board classes, when we ask kids to, do yoga or do meditation, they're like, "Ma'am, अपने लिए तो time मिलता नहीं है. It's just like कि हम tuitions जा रहे हैं, हम coaching जा रहे हैं. Now how will we eventually do it?" So
Hmm.
that eventually comes out to being like a task for you. So what I
Hmm.
really like in such situations is, let's say if you're studying something theoretical or numerical, and you
Hmm.
have you have your balcony, just go and sit there. You have your plants there. You can gaze at them while
Hmm.
you're doing these little things when you're solving questions. Or let's
Hmm.
say when you're not doing it, maybe when you're getting ready, play some light music on your
Hmm.
way to school, on your way to the coaching classes or your tuitions. Talk to your friends during
Hmm.
that time. So these little buffers actually keep your mental health and your um, they make you feel more calmer at the end of the day. So it doesn't have to be all
Hmm.
fancy and heavy for them, wherein they have to put in a lot more efforts to make out time to have themselves more relaxed. So it should be a part of your usual routine. क्योंकि अगर ये बोलेंगे तो ये भी बहुत heavy लगेगा. Secondly, when you were talking about food, not having heavy food items, so we all know, in fact, students these days are much more aware. They talk about sugar crash and everything. Something that I also observed now. I didn't have this awareness back then, but now I understand that sugar crash that actually comes, during the afternoon or in the evening when you're more lethargic. So I think a balanced approach towards what you're consuming at the end of the day, especially when it comes to heavier carbohydrates, which make you feel more lethargic, something that you have to be more mindful about. Secondly, thirdly, again, while I was quoting this thing that you can have these little things a part of the day at night also when you're going to sleep. So if since most of the students these days have access to gadgets, they can look up for muscle relaxation. It's called JPMR, and they just have to listen to the instructions. So this is a very slow process where you lie down and you contract and relax every muscle of the body. So it's like
Hmm.
contract your eyebrows, so push them up, hold for a few seconds, and release. And this is not something they
Correct.
have to actively do. They can just lie down at the bed, play it on their phone,
Correct.
on YouTube, and they just follow the instructions that are being there. And it's okay if they're not
Hmm.
able to complete all of it. Even if they do for like 2, 3 minutes, a lot of tension that's stored in the body, a lot of stress that's stored in the body, your body unlearns it gradually. So these are the little
Correct.
things that we can do. And even in exam time, I remember my classmate used to make fun of me in 11th, 12th only. So I read somewhere that, you just blow air on your thumb when you're nervous or feeling heavy during the exam. So I would do this.
Hmm.
And he would be
Hmm.
like, ये क्या करती रहती है exam के time में? And I'm like, I read it somewhere. It helps my sensory or experiences come to a more grounded level. So it helps me with grounding. So any sensory experience that you can have, as simple as drinking water, having a few breaths, or blowing air on your thumb, or just having a little technique of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I would share it because it's a very remarkable technique that we follow. So you observe 5 things around you and you
Hmm.
name them. So let's say if I can see window, door, table, chair, and clothes. So
Hmm.
5 things I can see, I have to name them. 4 things I can touch around me. So maybe again table, pen, paper, phone. And I have to touch them. I have to use that sensory experience at that time. Then 3 sounds you can hear. So maybe children flipping during the exam. So the noise, the sound of flipping of pages, the invigilator talking, or maybe, the sound of the fan or the noise coming from outside. Then two things now, the last two are related to your olfactory and your gustatory experiences. So you cannot smell at that moment, but sometimes kids do have inhaler during winters, or let's say they carry some fragrance while pens these days, right? So maybe
Hmm.
something you can smell or something you like to smell, you can think of it. One thing you like to taste. In that moment, again, they can't taste much. So maybe they can just have a sip of water and let it rest on their tongue. So these will help you ground in those particular moments and help you get through the exams at least.
Nice. So I think if I'm not
Very
wrong, ये
nice.
जो techniques है, ये basically they are bringing it their your mind to the present, right?
Right,
They're
Yes,
activating
exactly.
your vagus nerve so that the
right.
parasympathetic nervous system becomes activated. You
Absolutely.
relax and you can perform better, right? So yeah, I
Exactly.
also have been practicing this PMR technique, and it really helps. It really does when you are all wired up, tensed up. It really serves to calm down. और एक calm brain जो होता है, what I've seen is उसकी performance एक अलग level पे होती है. If your
Definitely, ma'am.
mind is like a high tension wire, तो you are bound to make mistakes. They are going to be mistakes which you don't even realize at that moment. बाद में आपको लगता है कि अरे what came over me at that time है कि क्या हो गया था उस टाइम पर, मैं तो ऐसे कभी नहीं करता हूँ, मतलब नहीं यार नहीं करती हूँ. So that kind of thing. And yes, that you enlighten the children about the food also, because अक्सर इस generation को ये बात समझाना मुश्किल है कि नीचे ढींगरा बेकरी पे ज्यादा जो है ना पैटीज एंड समोसे नहीं खाने हैं.
Right,
That is,
right.
we
So I
have,
would agree. I have done that. Even I didn't realize back then in grade 11 and 12.
तो
It's
indirectly
only
हमने एक promo कर ही दिया. तो 17 का.
let's
yeah.
let's demand
हाँ.
something from Dingra Bakery now.
Yes, yes, we should are going to
We
ask
should
him
take
for
some
that.
commission from them.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I think it's very important to children to know this. Once in a while, it's okay to go with the taste. That also
Exactly.
relaxes you. But overall, जी ये बहुत heavy snacks and bakery products and all that, ultimately
Or
they
at least they
Yeah.
can be strategic during this time. I understand this
yeah,
habit is not easy to give up, but
Yeah.
at least during their exam, during those 2, 3 weeks, they can be more mindful because
correct.
this is the time when they tend to go on to those food items.
Yeah.
Right. When I was your age now, particularly 17, 18, तब खैर of course digestion was never an issue. So probably उस time कभी हमने realize ही नहीं किया कि ज़्यादा खाने के बाद दिमाग थोड़ा सोने लगता है. But now you feel it all the more, and उस time पे भी थोड़ा imperceptibly होता था, पर होता था, correct. So that's what we can do is कि जो इतने सालों में हमने धीरे धीरे सीखा, हम चाह रहे हैं कि बच्चे थोड़ा जल्दी सीख जाए and they
Exactly. And they're having this thing, जो हमारी speech and जिसमें difference तो है. They pick up faster. I must appreciate that.
Absolutely. And
correct.
anyway, it's all around social media. So people are
Yes,
talking
things are
a
very
lot
simple
about
and
sugar
easy.
and
Actually,
consumptions.
actually,
So they're
the
picking up more
awareness
fast.
is much better.
Yeah,
Expressions, awareness, everything is very handy.
Correct.
AI techniques for getting answers is so easy now.
Correct.
So thank you so much, Pragati ma'am, because so आप अपने crisp continue रख सकते हैं if you wish to, right? I hope it was good. मैंने इसको
Of
small
course.
हाँ, because Samprata is also बिल्कुल crisply से समझा दिया to the point and real life things से connect होना is a big thing. Thank you, Samprata. I'm very happy, and very
thank
soon we're going to invite you offline also for here to visit our bio student and
you.
meet them and
Definitely, ma'am.
motivate. We'll have a
I'll be happy
proper
to be there.
session on this. I'll get back to
Sure.
you on that.
Okay.
Right? Thank you, Pragati
Okay.
ma'am.
Oh, most
Best
welcome, ma'am.
wishes to continue. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining in, Samprita and
Thank you.
Varsha, ma'am. I'm
Thank
so
you.
indebted to you for
Thank you always. Always there.
beautiful.
Okay. God
And
bless you.
yeah, and let's plan something for the next few weeks
Sure.
so that
Sure.
every
Sure.
week we can give something to the children which
Yeah, we
helps
can
them.
have theme based, some particular like question based things, query based
Correct.
focus.
So,
That could be.
is there anybody who would like to ask any question? If you have something, please you may ask quickly. I'll put it on the chat here. Any questions for Samprata? Okay, can't see much at the moment.
No
But
worries. This is
anyways,
just a beginning. They will be
yeah.
bombarded. Amrita, don't worry. You will be having lots of questions. Offline, when my students are going to be there with you throughout, surrounded.
No worries, ma'am.
And
No
I'll be
worries.
happy to see you there.
Even I would be, it's
Yes,
like you
yes.
always get
Planning to
recharged
planning.
interacting with adolescents.
Yes, yes. Thank
Okay,
you so
correct.
much. Thank
So
you.
we'll be
Thank
Both
looking
of
you.
forward
Pragati
to
ma'am. Yeah.
for you to come back again on board and guide
Yeah.
our students.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye. Have a
Bye. Take
Bye.
great
care.
You
night.
too. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Okay, children. So before we end this stream, Samprita, if you can stay on for a little bit longer, I would like to ask you one more question.
Sure, ma'am.
So, particularly in the moments of stress during the final hours before the exam, you know, अक्सर बच्चे ना बहुत एक गलती भी करते हैं, रात को देर तक पढ़ते रहते हैं, अगले दिन अगर एग्जाम है तो is it a good thing to do? I mean, your generation is a little different from mine. I would suggest not, but then let's see how your generation works in it. Is it good to study late hours and even up to the last moment?
So there are two perspectives here. One I'll talk scientifically, one I'll talk in the realistic scenario. So
Hmm.
scientifically, if I talk about it, of course, it's not good because you're breaking your diurnal rhythm. So
Right.
I think most of the students here are science students, right?
Hmm.
If I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Correct.
we all know about the diurnal rhythm. We know how our, melatonin works, and eventually, how in the evolutionary sense, we would sleep by sunset or right after sunset and get up before sunrise. So this is how we are wired to be at the end of the day. So it
Hmm.
is going to definitely mess up, especially when you have a very flexible sleeping pattern. That is going to be more harmful
Hmm.
rather than, something which is more structured and organized. Let's say
Hmm.
if I am going to sleep by 11 p.m. at night every day, and it is around 11 p.m. almost all the days, then it's fine. But let's say one day I'm sleeping at night 9, another day I'm sleeping at 1, another day I'm sleeping at 4 a.m. based on whatever I have to do.
Hmm.
So your body is not understanding what is happening at the end of the day. In order to support your brain, it has to be supported first. That is the primary goal. Now, if I talk about the real life concerns that kids face and the students when they actually state their reasons, घर में पूरा दिन शोर होता है मुझे रात को ही शांति मिलती है.
Hmm. Correct.
Very common. There's no one to disturb me. स्कूल के
Yes.
बाद मैं थक के आ जाता हूँ. I'm extremely tired. I don't have the energy left. So it is only I take after I take a nap or I rest that at night I can sit with all my energy levels recharged. But then again, I have to go back to school in the morning, which I end up skipping a lot of times. So it's a continuous cycle. So for that, we also have to sometimes understand, see, if factors at home are too overwhelming for children, they will not be able to study. अगर इतना शोर होगा they actually get you know impacted by it, especially if there are conflicts at home. So we have to be a little mindful in those scenarios. But maybe yes, hacks or alternatives or strategies that can work in different ways. So there is the system of libraries all around us these days,
Correct. Hmm.
right? So if they can have that time and they can go and sit in a library, if their situations permit, great. Maybe that is something can be done. Or maybe if this thing can be communicated at home that, I need this little space to study, then again, it's a win win situation. But at times, these cannot be done. So these are exceptional scenarios where, yes, at night will be a more comforting time for them. But again, they have to be mindful that at least minimum of 5-6 hours of sleep to mile raat ko,
Correct.
right? So
Correct.
that is one priority. And if I talk about right before the exam day, definitely उस दिन तो you need to have 6 to 7 hours of sleep, because if you are going to be sleepy, it is going to impact your performance also in your exam. And that
Hmm.
is something you don't want to take the risk of because you have been preparing from the last 1 or 2 years for this very exam. So उस दिन तो particularly we have to be very, very mindful. Just a second. Yeah, so you have to be very mindful of this fact that you have to give your final attempt right now and you cannot take a chance during that. One very important thing that I want to share is the consumption of coffee, caffeine. We don't talk about it enough. We don't talk about how acidic it is. We don't talk about how anxiety triggering it can be as well. So coffee and caffeine do tend to increase your anxiety levels. So if you're someone who already gets stressed very easily, I think it's a complete no-no. I used to, consume coffee in grade 11, and somehow someday I came across this article, and I also remember in grade 11 when we had this chapter on life processes, and we were doing the urinary system. And I remember Varsha ma'am talking about ADH, antidiuretic hormone. So how increased consumption of caffeine will decrease your ADH levels and increase your urination. How caffeine will also make your gastric, you know, environment more acidic. So these
Correct.
little things actually impact your performance in very subtle ways. I remember I used to feel very nauseous right before the exam whenever I would have coffee a night before. And also my anxiety levels changed gradually. I won't say drastically, but gradually. So for these two things, I think you have to be mindful of what you're consuming, especially a day or two before your exam. So these little changes I did bring about right then also, and they are useful now also. So instead of coffee again, since you
Important.
have to wake up, I used to go and consume apple. Apple again makes you feel alert. So apple was my alternative for a coffee.
So there are better alternative to caffeine. So kids,
Yeah,
are you getting that? Because often coffee tea becomes our go-to thing. नहीं भी पढ़ना है या रात में पढ़ना है या भी नींद आ रही है तो पढ़ना है तो हमें लगता है कि कॉफी पी के या चाय पी के करना बेटर है बट लॉन्ग रन में इट इज गोइंग टू हार्म अस सो प्लीज डोंट रिजॉर्ट टू दैट बेटर इज माइंडफुलनेस टेक्निक्स फॉलो करें ब्रीदिंग करो डीप ब्रीदिंग करो साथ साथ में जैसे अभी हमें संप्रीता ने बताया कि एप्पल खा सकते हो या कोई चीज जिससे कि आपका थोड़ा च्यूइंग एक्शन भी होता है तो कई बार जॉ मसल्स भी जब हम एक्टिवेट करते हैं तो उससे भी हमारा माइंड अलर्ट होता है सो ऑफ कोर्स देयर आर सम केमिकल्स आल्सो व्हिच विल काइंड ऑफ ट्रिगर दैट अलर्टनेस इन यू बट ये इंपॉर्टेंट है टू फॉर यू टू नो कि चाय कॉफी इज नॉट अ गुड ऑल्टरनेटिव इन द लॉन्ग रन
right.
ठीक है वेरी
And
गुड
especially if you are too addicted to it or you are too used to it, please try to avoid it at least 1 or 2 days before exam. I'm not asking you to have extreme drastic changes, but right before your exam, please don't consume it.
So will it not give a headache if they don't drink just then if they're used to it?
Of course, it has to be gradual, but if you are someone, so this is again, it applies with terms and conditions. If you're someone who gets easily stressed out, very easily anxious, first notice all this. We do have good 1 or 2 months left for board exams. So this is the right time also that we are having it. So observe your bodily responses, try to decrease or reduce it for a few days in a week. See how your body responds to it, and you will get to know.
Correct.
Especially the acidic part, you will get to know very easily.
Absolutely. करेक्ट सो जैसे हमने लास्ट सेशन में भी बात की थी बच्चों की इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू नोटिस योर इमोशंस टू अंडरस्टैंड योर इमोशंस हाउ योर बॉडी एंड योर माइंड इज रिस्पॉन्डिंग और रिएक्टिंग इन सर्टेन सिचुएशन अगर हम अपने को ही हम अगर नहीं कर पाएंगे एनालाइज अपने को अंडरस्टैंड नहीं करेंगे तो वी कांट होल्ड समबडी एल्स रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर आवर फेलियर्स एंड सक्सेस वी हैव टू टेक ओनरशिप राइट कि हम अभी से ही अपने आप को प्रिपेयर करें बाय ऑब्जर्विंग आवरसेल्व्स राइट very good point taken
Absolutely.
and we will end the stream today I would just like to quote here there is a very important lesson to be learned from Bhagavad Gita here see we talk about psychologists and we talk about seminars लेकिन सबसे पहला सेमिनार या वर्कशॉप जो है ना शायद सबसे पहले भगवान कृष्ण ने दिया था अर्जुन को ऑन द बैटल फील्ड ऑफ महाभारत अब महाभारत के युद्ध से ज्यादा तो हमारा एग्जाम शायद इतना चैलेंजिंग नहीं होगा करेक्ट तो दैट वाज अ वेरी वेरी स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन फॉर अर्जुन तो हमारी उससे तो कमी होगी करेक्ट तो द इंस्ट्रक्शंस दैट कृष्णा गिव टू अर्जुन before that arjun tells krishna in the first chapter how exactly is he feeling at the moment just before the war you know so we can understand the pre exam anxiety issues by looking at those two shlokas so arjun says that my mouth is drying up my hands are trembling my hairs are standing on end and my bow is slipping from my hands my legs just can't seem to take it they're shaking and I'm just losing it, I'm just losing it, what to do. So एक्चुअली ना बहुत अलग नहीं होती है हमारी सिचुएशन, हमारी भी वैसी ही सिचुएशन होती है जब हम पैनिक सिचुएशन में है, हम जा रहे हैं नीट का एग्जाम देने जा रहे हैं, क्योंकि लॉट रेस्ट ऑन इट, बहुत आपने बहुत मेहनत करी है नीट के लिए, और वहां जाने से पहले एग्जाम में घुसने से पहले अगर आपके अंदर इस तरह के सिम्टम्स आ रहे हैं कि हाथ शेक कर रहे हैं और हाइपर एंजाइटी आपकी बिल्डअप हो रही है, तो अल्टीमेटली ये आपकी परफॉर्मेंस को नुकसान करने वाला है। तो एट द सेम टाइम देन कृष्णा गिव्स एक बहुत से, वैसे तो बहुत सारे लेसन हैं, बट एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट लेसन क्या है, डिटैच योर सेल्फ अ लिटिल, लर्न टू डिटैच योर सेल्फ अ लिटिल फ्रॉम द रिजल्ट। क्योंकि अगर आप रिजल्ट के साथ डिटैच रहना नहीं सीखोगे, इफ यू ओवर इन्वॉल्व to in overthinking about what is going to happen if I get this many marks, what is going to happen if I don't get good marks, so you're actually focusing more on what's going to happen later than गिविंग योर एग्जाम। सो थोड़ा सा एग्जाम से डिटैचमेंट रिजल्ट से बहुत जरूरी है। फोकस ऑन योर हार्डवर्क, फोकस ऑन योर स्ट्रेटजीज, focus on your being together with other, your peers, your mentors, fighting it out, yes, that's important, but over involvement रिजल्ट के साथ मत रखना, क्योंकि रिजल्ट को हम अगर ज्यादा पकड़ के रखते हैं तो वो हमें और ज्यादा एंजाइटी देता है ना। So this is one small tip from Bhagavad Gita that I can share you, and I also talked about last time mantra meditation. There are some neurologists in US who have worked on this. That mantra meditation, at least 5 to 10 minutes every day, if you can do it. I know in your at your age, it's difficult to imagine that. What, this is something that old people do. No, no, but that's not true. I mean, 5 to 10 minutes you can just take out, because the kind of benefit it gives you, is something phenomenal. Your brain waves, they change, to alpha mode, and alpha mode में अगर brain waves आपकी चली जाती हैं तो आपकी परफॉर्मेंस एक अलग ही लेवल पे चली जाती है। सो थोड़ा थोड़ा 5 मिनट 10 मिनट जितना भी आप निकाल सकते हो, थोड़ा मंत्रा मेडिटेशन जरूर किया करो, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू। ठीक है, सो थैंक यू सो मच Samprita. Having you was just a delight. This was the first session we did, and I hope that we can have more fruitful discussions, because I think we need to talk, particularly as the children are approaching their examinations. We need to talk more about these things, about the problems that they might be having. So we will keep sharing, we'll keep inviting you. Thank you so much
Okay,
being here.
ma'am, it was a pleasure being here, and I'm so glad that by sharing these little things, and I hope at least few of them, if not all, will be able to take away certain things and apply, and that's the win-win for us.
Definitely, that will happen, because children do need, a friend, some, let us say, an empathetic ear to listen to, somebody who can hear them out, somebody who can solve their problems. So I think this is going to be a good initiative, and we are looking forward to have you more and more on this platform. Thank you so much once again. Thank you for everyone who joined. I know initially not many of you joined because of the time issue, but we will try to get your polls on what time suits you more, so that more of you can join online. And slowly, as the things catch up, I think we are going to have more and more people around. Okay, thank you so much, and take care. Take care of yourself, take care of people around you, because by taking care of people around you, you will be taken care of well. Always remember that. Okay, take care.